Parks says Rory and Mal crossed the line when they disrespected Savon and Alex.
And I want to defend
Thank you.
Savon,
I'm glad you said it,
Savon and
Parks.
Alex because they did get some wrong. Timeline was wrong. And I don't think it was that response from the guys from Rory and Mal was warranted though. I think they went a little too far calling him a ball glazer and we don't know your name. Like that was cap and that was disrespect and that was foul. What they said, the misinformation was wrong and they should have been a little bit more on point with that. But like y'all said, it was 3 years ago. It's kind of hard to remember every last little detail. But they did f- that shit up, and that's why I was tight.
And Parks also says that when he saw Rory in person, Rory gave him the cold shoulder.
Salute
Do you
y'all.
still have a relationship with them?
I do not really particularly have a relationship with them. I don't. It's not beef. I've seen Rory at the mixer last year, and I said what up, and he didn't seem like he really wanted to talk to me, but it's all good. We gave each other a pound and kept it moving. Pause. Um, I say neutral because it is what it is. I don't put emotion into I guess the business side of it. Like we have a job, a business to do, and we're friends, and it's fun and it's cool. But at the end of the day, it is a gig. So like getting all egotistical about whose podcast is this? I made this. You wouldn't have been without me. You wouldn't have been without me. On both sides is kind of pointless. Like
Was there a reason you went to Ian instead of Joe?
Ian's level headed, and Joe can react like a dog cornered if he feels like a dog cornered. He's gonna bark and bite. So if there's an issue that I see happening, I'd rather talk to Ian about that, and then he can maybe figure out a way to massage it to Joe in a better way that he can digest. I think if I would have went right to Joe with that, it would have blown up that night instead of the night after. You know what I mean? Whatever. So that's that on that.
That's right, on a recent Twitter space with the Joe Budden TV community, Parks shed more light into how he felt about Rory and Mal responding to Savon and Alex. This was more of a response than he did on the Joe Budden podcast, where he essentially threw Savon and Alex under the bus and didn't really provide any support to his former interns turned producers. I gotta give it to Parks as he finally took a stance. But I don't know if he's necessarily right about Rory and Mal crossing the line with Alex and Savon. If I had to put on my critical thinking, I think that Rory and Mal expected Joe Budden to try to control the narrative with regards to the breakup. However, when they saw Savon and Alex do it, they were like, all right, now we're being played with too much. It's different if Joe Budden, who is a top podcaster, somebody who's naturally going to try to take control of narratives, does it. But when Savon and Alex do it, it is going too far. I mean, I think Savon and Alex did try to make the situation look different by painting Rory and Mal as the agitators, the people moving in bad faith. I don't know what the proper response for Rory and Mal could have been. And I do think there's people ducking accountability. For example, Savon and Alex, when they responded, they didn't necessarily say anything of value to me. Like, Alex didn't apologize for the claim that Rory made about Alex lying. Savon, he took ownership of it, but he did a great gaslighting move, You know, when somebody calls you out, but then they kind of say something like, oh, ball glazing, you make the whole apology about ball glazing. That's genius. I would have done the same thing, Savon. Shout out to you, you gaslight Gretzky Jr. I see what you're doing. That's a good move. Oh, man, you crossed the line, which Mal did. But in his response to Rory and Mal, he made that the whole issue, not the fact that Rory and Mal were positioned basically like some sort of evildoers in the whole breakup. But back to what Parks says. He also said that when he saw Rory in person at the Need to Know mixer, Rory gave him the cold shoulder. Yes, he gave him a dap, but it wasn't exactly all easy peasy. And it looks like Rory still has some leftover animosity from what happened. And to be honest, I would too. As Park seems to be taking this business never personal stance. I don't know, guys. I feel like the Joe Budden podcast very much profited off of selling friendship to the listener. They would always position themselves as friends, and all of them were participatory in trying to make the whole thing look like a family, like Fast and Furious family is always family. But it turns out it was all a facade. And now Parks is playing the business card. And what you will find is that in business, most people who say that it's business, it's never personal, are the people who end up with the upper hand or control of the situation. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you feel like Parks is really being truthful about it being business and not personal? Because it sure feels personal in the way that Joe handled it. And even the way Parks handled it. I don't think he was moving the most business friendly throughout this. I think he was making it insanely personal with some of the subjects, with some of the discussions he was having on the podcast. You know, you was playing both sides, Parks. You was playing both sides. And I think if we ever get to the bottom of this, get to the truth, we will see. Rory and Mal, man, bring the truth, man. What did Parks say? What did he say? Was he in that meeting saying that, you know, Joe used to screw him over in the past when he used to do Slaughterhouse albums and Mood Music and Rage Against the Machine? He was unpaid. Is that what he said? I need to know. All right, y'all. That's it for that subject. And I just want to say, shout out to the Joe Budden Twitter TV community. I mostly like everybody there. But lately, some of those people been taking shots at me, and I am not with that. There's a couple of dudes up there, man. You getting on my last nerve. Y'all up there gatekeeping for Joe. You're answering his questions. You're shutting people down for asking the most simplest of questions. A lot of people say I'm rude, I'm disrespectful. Y'all are preemptively shooting people down, trying to gatekeep the Joe Budden podcast. I don't like it. Somebody get control of that. There's only a few people out there moving in good faith, and it ain't many of them. It's whack, it's corny, it's twisted. Fix it. Somebody fix it. Why are people up there modding, telling people to shut the hell up? And that was more nicely than the way I just put it. All y'all gotta do is mod, man. Don't try to act like y'all the personalities. People are there to have a good time. Don't overstep your boundaries. Keep it cool, because y'all ruining a good situation. And to be honest, I love the fact that I'm no longer a part of that whole Joe Budden TV community space thing. Even though I was the one that said y'all should do it. I was the one who said that. That's what I said. I know y'all probably had plans to do it before, but I was the one when I got there. I said, y'all not going to do Twitter spaces? And look at y'all. Y'all on your 8th episode or whatever. But I don't like the direction it's going. There's a couple mods up there feeling themselves. A couple mods started feeling themselves. Y'all trying to make a podcast, or y'all trying to grow the community? Let me know. Let me know, so that way I can evaluate differently. Because if y'all making a podcast, maybe I'll start to look at y'all as a podcast and break y'all down as a podcast, kind of like I do to Joe Budden, Rory and Mal. Is that what you want? I'll talk about each co-host and what they doing wrong. Talk about who shouldn't be on the show. Is that what you need? Is that how I'm gonna get you right? Anyway, let me know what you think about the JBTV community spaces. I think there's a lot going on over there, and I don't like some of it. All right, y'all, that's my video for today. Let me know what you think about Parks and his response to Rory and Mal. He was defending Savon, but I don't know. Parks is hiding something, man. What does Parks know? I want to know what Parks knows. He's hiding. The truth ain't coming out. It's been 3 years. We need to get to the bottom of what Parks did. Anyway, follow me on Instagram, to Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, to Stop TV. And also tap in with me on my Reddit, Joe Budden Network. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.
To come up with some really cool, even if I think they're asinine theories,